In the last module, we discussed how to identify your 80-20. Well, in this module, we're going to get crystal clear on how you can begin to actually magnify your 20% to achieve even better results on anything you put your mind to. We're going to talk about the amazing power of leverage and how there is always another level to thinking bigger, to really make the most of how you invest your energy, money, and passion into anything. Then we're going to look at taking your personal focus to a whole new level. We discuss how to seriously raise the bar on what results are possible in your life easily by only exerting a little extra effort. And then finally, we'll look at how to apply leverage to a single idea to see how easy it is to expand positive results simply by seeing energy differently. So let's talk about leverage. What is it? BusinessDictionary.com defines the word leverage as the ability to influence a system or an environment in a way that multiplies the outcomes of one's efforts without a corresponding increase in the consumption of resources. So what does this mean exactly? Well, it means that by using sources of external energy, you can begin to multiply your efforts without having to use more of your own physical time and energy. It's about looking outside yourself and your own energy reserves to instead begin to see how you can tap into the power of other resources to think bigger and increase your results. Results you may have thought were once impossible to achieve. Understanding how to tap into external leverage supplies means to think and approach something differently so you can tap into existing knowledge and wisdom, technology, or other resources that can save you time, money, and energy. Now trust me, you might not understand this concept just yet, but this module is a game changer and very exciting. It might challenge you to think a little differently, but I guarantee it's worth it if you want to learn how to focus and, more importantly, get the best results on what you decide to pay attention to. The concept of leverage is one of the most powerful in all of science. Archimedes proved the law of the lever and applied the law in a variety of inventions. Historian John Tacitus, writing in the 12th century, wrote that Archimedes said, "Give me a place to stand, and with a lever, I will move the world." In science, leverage is the ratio of change in output to the change in input. The formula for calculating leverage is leverage times change in input equals change in output. So what does this mean? I know this might seem a little complicated, so let's break it down for you in clarity class. Basically, if you first expand what you believe is possible to achieve a result and then find the right lever tool to lift that idea into a reality, then your result changes too. So the better you understand what resources are available to you in your life, the bigger you can think and expand your desired outcome. The greater the chance the end result will be amazing, and the greater the difference you can make in whatever you choose to focus on. Let's look at how to leverage a single idea you want to focus on in your life and what the ideal result would look like. So now I just want you to close your eyes for a minute, and I want you to imagine something you really want to achieve or have in your life. For example, it may be that you want to save up and buy a new car, publish a book, get a job promotion, take an amazing luxurious holiday, or some other goal. Now, for the purpose of this exercise, this thing you want to experience, create, or have will take the form of a rock. So let's call it your result rock. Your result rock contains any thought you desire, and it's the final product, the end stage, the objective, the complete result of whatever you want to see, feel, or have. Now I want you to keep your eyes closed for a minute and visualize this result in your mind for a moment. Now imagine you have a lever tool that you could use to make this result easier to achieve, easier to lift into reality, where you only had to use a little bit of energy to enormously increase the result. Essentially, leverage is about thinking smarter and expanding the outcome with the time you have available. It is about thinking on a different scale ratio. Most of us have never been taught to think using scale of thought, so let's look at an example of how you could apply leverage to communicate an idea to the world. So let's look at this online course as an example of leverage. Even this online course right now is an example of how I actively applied the power of leverage to my own level of energy. You see, I could have just worked with you one-on-one as a client in my office to teach you how to focus, but I realized I wanted to help as many young women as I could get clear on understanding how to focus, not just women who lived in my state or in my local area. So essentially, I could have shared my knowledge and training with just a few friends like you over my lifetime if I worked in a local capacity. But I thought, why put those kind of limitations on myself and what's possible? So I created this online course to essentially be able to help as many people in my lifetime learn how to focus without having to teach the same content over and over again. But this way, I could deliver quality video content to reach tens of thousands of women like you around the world to help you stay focused every day. This course has been developed using hundreds of hours of research and invested time, energy, money, and more importantly, passion, something I could never have created for just one person. In effect, you are using the power of leverage by learning how to focus through this clarity class, as you are accessing information that has taken years of study, research, and editing and production time. Knowledge you might have spent years trying to find and learn for yourself through life experience, other courses, books, or college. So you too are using the power of leverage by learning the power of your mind and how to focus with just the click of a button. The thing is that unless you understand the immense power of leverage, you may focus very hard on getting results, but will always be limited by the amount of physical hours you can put in as an individual. Leverage, however, gives you the ability to use the time you can to hustle yours and that of other people and resources, and focus on creating bigger results faster using scale. So essentially, it's about understanding how to apply leverage so you can make the most of your precious resources, your time and energy. Do you want to know the real difference between women who live an average life and those who excel? Well, the secret is that the women who excel are those who focus on using the power of leverage to help them achieve their goals. And do you want to know the best news? You and so many other young women now have access to this leverage, something that simply wasn't available to other generations of women in the past. In fact, you're accessing it right now, and you probably don't even realize its power. You are using the power of technology right now to leverage your intelligence and your ability to grow through this amazing thing known as the internet. This web of information, communities, knowledge, and communication, this powerhouse of energy that is just waiting for you to create something amazing. The internet is in fact the most powerful physical and virtual form of leverage that has ever been created on this planet, and you are living at just the right time in history to actually tap into the power of leveraged networks of information, resources, and interpersonal connections to really make a difference and create your diamond life. I could create a whole course on leverage thinking, but here's the thing I want you to think about in this module, and the really crucial point I want to drive home here. Successful women do not think in terms of saving time, they think in terms of leveraging time. In other words, they are constantly looking for better answers to the question, how can I make the best use of my time, energy, money, resources, skills, etc.? Every successful person knows that the keys to achievement are conscious effort, careful planning, and good old-fashioned hard work. But on the road of success, there is one habit that will accelerate you beyond all others. If you want to stay ahead of the pack, you've got to start thinking big. This is a common trait among successful people because they push the boundaries of what is acceptable at that given moment. By doing so, you begin to open the door to new yet unexplored opportunities. These are the big game-changing ideas, the ones that are worth millions and can help millions. So why is it that you probably haven't been taught how to use scale in what you think about? At school, why were we never taught to think big about life and what we can achieve? Well, the truth is that unfortunately many of us have been conditioned to think small, to think simply and not expect a rich, fulfilling life, to instead expect less and demand less from life. We've been taught that we should be happy and thankful with what we have, and that there are many others less fortunate than ourselves. Now, this is very true, and it is important to be immensely grateful for what we have. But if we want to positively impact the world, why not impact and make a difference to as many lives as possible using the power of leverage? Do you think Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, would have thought small to impact the world with technology? Do you think Michael Jackson would have thought small to impact the world with music? Do you think any of the most amazing people that have ever lived would continue to think small to make a difference? Now, I read somewhere that as an experiment, someone put 2 advertisements in a newspaper. They were for the same job, doing the same work with the same hours, but one of them offered to pay a salary many times the other. But guess what? About 10 times more people applied for the lower paying job. You see, people think small, and that's one of the reasons they fail. The reality is that most people are afraid of thinking big. They focus their daily lives on staying humble and thinking small without looking at the power of possibility. Many people would rather work for someone else's dream than to work on their own. They're scared to be successful, scared to be rich. Successful people, however, aren't afraid to go to the next level. They are committed to thinking big because thinking big means continual growing, expanding what's possible, and being able to give back as much as possible to their community and helping as many people as possible live their dreams and make a difference. So now I want you to realize that you can have anything you want when you use the power of leverage too. You simply have to ask for it, choose it, be committed to it. So start thinking big and watch what you focus on expand. Remember that what you give attention to expands. Life is like that. It's simple. By its very nature, it grows and evolves. It seeks to flourish and bloom and feel energized. The unfortunate reality is that often we've been taught to be small and to accept less. We have been taught that there's not enough of everything to go round and we mustn't take more than our fair share. But there is enough. There is enough money, enough success, enough food and water. The universe never runs out. It just keeps on making more and more. Before you can use leverage thinking, you must be able to ask for what you want from the universe without being afraid of the consequences. The best part of leverage thinking is the bigger you think, the bigger you dream, the more results you can get and achieve, the more you can inspire others, the more you can share, the more you can contribute to everyone around you, the more you can enrich the world and make a difference. There is a great quote I love from A Course in Miracles which sums up the power of thinking big and the power of possibility. It goes like this. Our worst fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Okay, so let's look at some examples of how successful women around the world use the power of leverage to positively impact the world and shine their light on others and inspire us. Beyoncé uses the power of her music to leverage empowerment to millions of women around the globe. Without leverage, she could create one song and simply let it be heard by her family and friends. But instead, she uses the resources around her to share her energy with others. So, how does she use leverage exactly? Well, she has a record company to help leverage her music to reach millions of women around the world. She uses the power of the internet through channels like YouTube to leverage her ability to connect and inspire other young women to be the change they want to see. And she uses her influence to leverage her ability to give back through her charity work, including her involvement with the Chime for Change initiative, the Haiti Adolescent Girls Network, Girl Up, and World Humanitarian Day. So as you can see, by using the power of leverage, she can share more of her talent, music, and vision to help encourage other young women around the world to create positive change too. By collaborating with other music artists, charity organisations, and media networks, she has been able to create a larger-than-life persona that really showcases just how much impact can be made when you first have a great talent or message to share, and second, have the smarts to use leverage to help you share it. Now, another example is Ivanka Trump. She is an amazing role model of mine that uses the power of her position and title to leverage her ability to be a successful businesswoman and give back to the community and inspire other young women to be successful too. Without leverage, she could just have lived through her Trump name, but instead, she uses the resources around her to share her energy and inspire other young women in the process. So, how does she use leverage? She uses the power of the show The Apprentice and online social media platforms to leverage her ability to connect and inspire other young women to reach for the stars and be successful in business. She has her Trump name, which is a brand she uses to help leverage not just her many entrepreneurial pursuits, including real estate, her successful jewelry and fashion line and best-selling book, but also support various charities including the United Nations Girl Up. She uses education and her support network to leverage life experience and knowledge from others, which helps to give her a competitive advantage in her industry and avoid mistakes and costly errors. So as you can see, by using the power of leverage, Ivanka can share more of her passion for business, creative insight, and help positively influence young women to think bigger and go for their dreams. By collaborating with media networks and shows like The Apprentice, she has been able to create a larger-than-life persona that really showcases just how much impact can be made when you first have a passion for what you do, and second, create mentors and a support network to leverage your knowledge and level of education to make calculated business and life decisions. Okay, so let's take a look now at how you can apply leverage to a single idea to see how easy it is to expand positive results and see energy differently. So let's just say you loved cooking cupcakes so much that you decided to make a cupcake book for your mum on Mother's Day. You spent some time writing all the 18 delicious recipes, took some gorgeous photos of each of the 18 different styles of cupcakes with sparkling icing and beautiful decorations, and found a custom online bookmaker to create your book. Let's look at using the power of leverage to see what we could really do with this book if you focused on getting bigger results and changing the ratio of expanding your energy. So by not using leverage, you could just create this book and give it to your mum on Mother's Day. So that's really as far as this goes without using the power of leverage. But we know that's thinking small. So what if you decided to use just a small amount of leverage, and instead of creating one book, you decided to create 4 books for a handful of your mum's closest friends? So that's just an example of using a small amount of leverage. But again, let's ramp up your thinking to the next level and think about using a larger amount of leverage. So now, instead of just sharing it with your mum or a handful of her friends, you know there is a local community fair coming up, and this would be an ideal opportunity for you to give even more people this beautiful book. But again, there is always another level, so let's ramp your results up again. Yes, you could simply sell this book at the local fair, but if you decided to just invest a little extra time, say create a web page or blog site and sell the cupcake book online, you could potentially sell this book to hundreds, if not thousands of people. So, same book, same amount of time, energy and resources you used to create the initial book, but the potential to share your book with an unlimited amount of people interested in a beautiful cupcake book to give to their mother on Mother's Day has just taken things to a whole new level. So you see, just one simple idea, creating a cupcake book for your mum on Mother's Day, can completely shift into a whole new dimension once you really begin to use the power of leverage by thinking on a different scale ratio and expanding the result of what's possible and how much of a difference you're prepared to make in the world. So now it's time to think about how you can make the most use of your time and what you focus on. How could you make the biggest influence with the passion and skills that you possess? What ways could you think about using leverage in your career, your business, or your life? Ask yourself these questions. Would you prefer to speak to just one person or many people? Would you prefer to help one person at a time or many people simultaneously? Would you prefer to share your product with just one person or many people? Would you prefer to make a difference to a few people's lives or make a difference around the world? Would you prefer to grow your money on a small or large scale? You see, success can be defined in many ways, and I'm not telling you how to define it. I'm simply saying to take your definition of success and raise the bar on it. Once you start to see the bigger big, then you have to ask yourself, what are the strategies to accomplish this bigger version of what your idea is? What would it take to accomplish my bigger goal? How can I leverage my energy and time to get there faster and impact more people? Once you have the vision and ask the what would it take question, the path to get there becomes crystal clear. You can apply this to anything from planning a holiday, creating a product, to starting a business. If you're looking for a job right now, maybe you should start thinking about a career instead of a job. And if you have a career, maybe you should think bigger and think about, well, what is my real calling? What was I put on this planet to do? What is the one thing that would make me not care whether it's Monday or Friday because I enjoy doing what I'm doing every day? In other words, what is your heart statement? So think big and realize there is always another level. Before doing your big thing, look at what is the bigger thing and do that instead. When you do, you'll find that your future will be far more amazing than your past and even more amazing than you thought it could be. Remember, you are only limited by yourself and how big you can think. So it's time to take action and think about how you can use your existing energy to leverage it and expand your results so you can maximize what you see for the amount of effort you're putting in. So it's exercise and power sheet time. In the PDF below, you're going to download your Leverage Focus Power Sheet to help you brainstorm and think about how you can generate better results using the same amount of time and energy. So we're going to help you think bigger without doing more work. This exercise is a really fun challenge that will begin to expand your level of comfort and can really open up new opportunities for how you focus on life. So take action and get focused now. This one is huge, so I'd love to hear what breakthrough ideas you've uncovered and how you can start to apply leverage in your daily life. And so that completes this module. Coming up next is the final module where everything comes together for you and you'll be able to focus on making a real difference to your life. It's about surrounding yourself with people who think big and can encourage you to focus on being the best version of you so you can make a real difference in the world in Shape Your Influence.